Alright, let's see if this still looks the same way that it did before, and it does. Good, that's a good start. It's probably a good sign, but why wouldn't it be? Because it is once again time to delve into this game. The game that has already been delved into halfway. Now we go the remainder of the way. The sequel to Rondo of Blood, clearly its only identity in the grand scheme of things, as you all remember and realize, I'm sure. And also the game that has the soundtrack that I'm not quite sure where the song ends, and it was quite, I guess, got a good coincidence that it did right there, because it is time to make the window visible again. Does this still work? Not by default, I guess. Actually, wait a minute. Yeah, I need to click on the other thing again. Need to do the thing that I always forget to do for some reason. I'll click on this instead of clicking on the other thing that I did. There we go. Also move this thing ever so slightly to the left, because apparently that wasn't quite matched up with the border last time. I sure hope it is now. It sure would be good. Well, I mean, I see that red line. It's not an exact match, but at least it should be better than having the red line on the other side now. I don't know, but anyway, let's, witness the ironic Konami logo once again, and get into this game once more. Select the file, which should still be... Well, it's the ferry again, even though... It's kind of weird that it would revert to the same icon that I had for a previous time that I saved, even though it's now a separate one. As you can see, I am in the reverse with a C for some reason. The poorly proofed inverted. I guess you could say inverted with a B, cap, and upper B, as in... I don't know. And sure enough, everything is upside down now, as you might remember, due to the events of what happened before. Well, I say due to the events, but I can't quite, even with the whole "the castle's alive," that's why it's different every time thing. I'm not quite sure what exactly the process for having another inverted castle that's exactly the same as the other castle, but, upside down, appear from the sky is... Well, speaking of that castle... Well, the regular castle, that is. Actually gonna take another pit stop back there, because there's a couple of things that didn't quite get the last time I was here that I'd like to before I proceed. Unfortunately, that shouldn't take terribly long. They're very close, not necessarily to this place, but to the place that I can reach very easily by taking the nearest teleport, which is not very far from here, just a few rooms down. First, I do want to go to the wall again. That's a scorpion, if I recall. Mostly because I don't really remember any other symbol that it could have been, and I'm pretty sure that's it. Well, could be, could have been. Same difference. And now that we are here, once more, let's go back into the library, which I mean we already technically explored completely, but there is technically another small trove of stuff that we can get if we so desire after we get the super jump, which we do right now, as you can see. I just need to remember exactly how to get there. Actually, I think just going in a straight line over to the left here, if I recall. What weapon am I using again? I actually don't remember. Using the ice brand, alright. Well, I'm still wearing the holy glasses, even though I don't really need them anymore. Guess I'm going to... Well, I could keep them on because they have higher intelligence, but... Steel Helm has higher defense, I don't know. Well, I don't really use the spells all that much. ugly, so... Mostly because of how, I guess you could say, this is the only Metroidvania type game where you can, have moves like the spells that you can have right from the beginning, and that, if used situationally, can pretty much change the situation in your favor to the point of cheapness. So I don't know, I think it's not such a bad idea to refrain from using them, but if you check up here, you can see this is where the librarian is sitting. So what would happen if, well, if you do this, you can, as you can see, have a visible result. And even though if you do that once, you get a health box up, I believe it was, you saw there. There is in fact a reason why you would want to keep doing this. That being one. That being another. That should be at least one more, so let's see if I can obtain this. I can manage to keep not messing up the button combination for the super jump, which is not really complicated, but it sometimes isn't quite as responsive as you would like. So I'm quite glad that it's not failing me right now. I'll watch as I fail to get the last item now that I've said that by jinxing everything. Yep. One moment. I'm pretty sure you can keep trying anyway, but as I look now I realize that, there is a little detail that using this move in this game does sub-magic, which is kind of the exception. You get the super jump in some of the other games, but it doesn't have a magical cost in that. So now we get to sit around for a little while. Oh, and then I waste some more magic as I will think that uses magic anyway. I'll just mess around with buttons and find that apparently the Ice Brand has a special move as well. Well, I mean, bothering old men does yield rewards, as you can see, like this ring that raises the appearance of rare items, and of which there's usually some kind of variation in these games. Well, there's another magic spell that you can do with the Sword Familiar. Don't know if we can do that yet, actually, or if we need to find some other relic just to enable that, like you need to enable the special move you can do with the wolf form. That might be unrelated, I don't know. Like, I would like to imagine that at least we have enough total MP to where we could do that. If we cannot indeed do that right now, so... Yep, let's meditate around for a little while as we remain still for long enough that the fairy familiar sits on our shoulder again. There we go. At least we get the telltale glow that indicates that we can do the move again, and it's supposed to be up, down, oh there it is. Oh, okay, so you don't have to... Oh, thank goodness for that. You don't have to do that continually, or if you fall it resets at the very least. I actually thought that you did have to do that way, but... Well, we got the Axe Lord armor, and... to get the Dracula tunic, which as you can see is actually pretty good, but... if we wear the Axe Lord armor, we can become an Axe Knight.
What?
Which, as you might imagine, is a very worthwhile exercise, since you can barely jump and we only have one attack available to us. And if we get hit at all, pretty much we can only jump once, by the way. We're completely at the mercy of this stiff armor. And if we get hit at all, we're also at the mercy of it. So, clearly this will be a great thing to bring to the rest of the castle. At least we can move pretty quickly compared to how Alucard moves. And we cannot transform to any of the other forms while we're in this armor, or go through doors even. How well. It's a shame that it had to end like this. But yeah, that's how you play as the Axe Knight. There's actually a secret mode you can unlock where if you enter that sheet, enter a certain name in the name entry screen, it counts as a cheat and it lets you start the game with the Axe Lord armor, so you can play as that for as long as you please before running out of patience, I guess. But now that we've gotten that stuff, let's head back up here to where the clock tower is. And let us head up here. I'll try to, do the super jump again, but as always in the end, it's better to just rely on the platform. Oh yeah, as you can see, there's some big parts of this room that we technically haven't filled out yet, and we can now that we can fly and jump really high. We also get the fire of the bat, which lets us spit fireballs when we're in the bat form, so at least we are not completely defenseless now. Well, in that form. So let's go ahead and go over to the left as well, so we can, fill out the map. Which is shouldn't take very long. It's not something that should be terribly troublesome. And not only that, but also now that we can fly and jump really high, there's a few extra goodies that we missed before because we couldn't reach them that we can grab now. Just a matter of locating them, and there they are now. See if we can make use of the fireball here, or not, because apparently the skulls are regular dodging, except when they're not. The Shaman Shield, the Bekatoa, and the Ice Mail, of which we already have one copy, I guess. Also got a magic missile and something else. Oh boy, and the Skull Lord is even easier to kill now. So I was kind of reviewing my map of where all the items are after the stream, since I pretty much gave up. Oh yeah, I did get the rest of the stuff, I forgot. Pretty much gave up updating that in real time. But, and I probably will not even bother with the inverted castle, but that's pretty much all I really wanted, kind of to get the bat fireball and to get the stuff from the library, and there is technically one more thing that I could get. That's on the way, so I guess I'll take advantage of that. Well, first let's save, I guess. And head back down to where the teleporter room is. Well, there is one more thing I could get, I guess. That probably wouldn't be that much out of the way, given that we have access to the teleporter and all that. I guess I'll try that, since Castle Keep is right there, but which is where we would ordinarily go, but I might as well go ahead and get rid of them just for the sake of being thorough, I suppose. Let's go back down to the abandoned pit and realize that if we look very closely, we can see a slight lack of symmetry in one part of the map that's right above us. matches are apparently... I don't know, there seems to be something about this sword that makes it strike more than once during the animation a lot of the time. At least we can kill them in 4 hits now instead of 5. Which is not a huge difference, but still. Alright. Forget about that little detail. Can only hurt the Venus weed Alra rune after she actually emerges from the pod thing. So I'm gonna, wait around a little longer so we see if maybe the fairy sense actually becomes useful or anything. So, I'm kind of hanging around and just hanging around right next to a place where it should... Well, I don't know. It should point to something, but what about if I turn on the sword familiar for a little bit?
I won't let you get in my way.
Okay, whatever you say, dude. It's kind of weird. I don't think the familiar said anything right after they were summoned before.
I'm ready to serve, Master.
That's nice. Well, at least the demon and the sword have voices, but I don't think the bat or the ghost can speak, which is really a shame. Well, it's not like the ghost is terribly useful anyway, but... Well, let's bring out the fairy again now that we've had a little shuffle, and...
I'll follow you anywhere!
Yes, you've said that before. You're not gonna do it, are you? Damn it. So she's not being very cooperative for these demonstration purposes, but she was supposed to point you to where the breakable walls are. But for some reason she has just completely failed to do that here, but... Alright, let's grab the peanuts, the barley tea, and the power of sire, which was what that last item was. And it has a very curious use, but I don't really want to use it until the end when I'm gonna be healed. Having an item that... I'm gonna have an item that helps me use that with... much less...
I won't let you get in my way.
Yes, that's very nice. Well, I could keep speaking about what I was speaking before, but it's just gonna sound confusing without actually showing it, so... go ahead and just wait until I can do that. So let's have the sword familiar out now, since I guess the fairy's not gonna be cooperative, like I said. And it is... we should be working on leveling the sword familiar anyway. For reasons that will only become apparent in a very, very long time. Well, very, very long time unless we use a special method that I'm probably gonna end up using. But now that we've completed our little treasure hunt back here in the regular castle's depths again, let us return to the inverted castle, which is where that mysterious dark-skinned ghost priest, who for some reason has like dark skin in his actual sprite, but his portrait, his dialogue portrait is like pale. Apparently that is where that person went, going to Alucard's little inquest after his fight with Richter, in which he did not murder Richter. Oh yeah, that would be a good time to check. Hang on a minute. Alright, here we go. I was wondering if that would have to be unlocked, but he just did the wing smash move with the platform. Which, funnily enough, I don't think is... If you go into the list of spells, you can see the wolf charge, the wing smash is down there, but it says like question mark and then a combination and then question mark again. Like I guess because they couldn't come up with a symbol to to concisely represent what you're supposed to do there, but what you do basically is hold down the jump button, then input the combination, and then let go of the jump button is what you do to execute that. So now there's... actually I'm kinda curious now. There's only one spell left for us to discover, and we might be able to do that right now actually. Let me try, I guess. There we go. That was the spell, and it kind of was wasted since there wasn't anything on the screen, but I think the spells thing should be completely filled out now. That's pretty much all the spells that you can get in this version of the game, at least. And for that one, which was the Sword Brothers spell, you need to have the Sword Familiar out, as you might expect. Also, there should be another item somewhere around here, I think, that I should be able to get. That we didn't get before because apparently it's hidden in some kind of breakable wall that I just didn't find. Yeah, there it is. It's the fire mail, which is the same, I would imagine it's the same as the ice mail, except with the other element. The ice mail and the holy mail, I guess. As far as the stats, but the elemental resistance is different. So now that we've gotten all those other items and filled out the map a little more, let's actually proceed to the other castle. After I get that again, because even though the cross is kind of strong, it's still not as good as the holy water for the damage span index. Stand right in the center for this to work. So up we go into the castle, which probably gonna go ahead and make the map visible for my convenience. Because I actually want to trace a specific route to the castle first, and then get to a certain point, and after that we can proceed with the rest of it. So as we kind of started to see before, it's pretty much just the exact same as the other castle, but upside down. And we filled out most of this room, but not quite all of it. And you know, because we have the flight power and the super jump power, we can pretty much access any part of the castle that we want, except for, you know, the very final part of it, which we need to fulfill a certain task to be able to access. Can you take a guess as to what the task would be? Certainly wouldn't be part of one of the, you know, wouldn't be one of the numerous meta references to the previous games that have been popping up here and there. And we got Sword of Dawn. And I'm guessing that if we go over here, we'll also find something. It's an iron ball. And one of the columns here that had a face in the... Oh, there's a skull lord. Face now looks happy, whereas it looked kind of concerned before because it's upside down. Isn't that incredible? So let's go ahead and try and get out of here. But of course now the question becomes, where should we go first? Because if we go one way, it would match up with the clock tower, and if we go the other way, it would match up with the... Well, the clock tower was in the other castle, and if we go the other way, it would match up with the chapel, I believe. Well, first let's get out the rest of these items that are just kind of lying around here for lightning mail. believe this should be a warp room, which, you know, should still work in this castle. And now you have to ride on this elevator to access the warp. But it doesn't take you anywhere right now because this is the only warp room you've discovered so far. So let me see. Let us go this way for now. Go down this corridor where we can speed down with the wolf form and just run through all the tombstones on the candles. And bump into the door so we can actually turn back and open it. And end up in this place, the Anti-Chapel is what this area is actually called. It's not even a chapel or anything, it's the Anti-Chapel. I already know the sword familiar was almost kind of useful there. There's magic missile again, there's a Waka knife. Hey, sword guy, why aren't you coming up here, you know? Are you over on the right when the enemies are over there? I think the sword familiar is kind of dopey, he doesn't really know how to aim. Which is why you want to level him, so that he can serve a more practical purpose later on. So let's head over here for now, after we discover that save point. Oh, and also, you know, look at these Black Panthers now, which are supposed to be references to the Black Panthers from the first level of Castlevania, which are apparently made of liquid. I think they also drop a pretty good sword, but oh shit, we've been poisoned. Are we taking damage? I guess not. Okay. Maybe we deal less damage now, though. That's probably what... You know, if we're not getting hurt, that's probably what the deal is, but... We also made it to this oddly quiet room, which might seem familiar. And here's Medusa. You can turn you to stone and try and attack you with a sword, but... And you also hear this music with the loud yelling soundtrack. Which is like, you know, along with Succubus, like maybe one of two times you hear it in the entirety of the game. That was kind of weird. She's saying down and then something else. I don't know, but it's kind of, you know, trying to refrain from hitting her because you can see there's not really that much to her at all. And she finishes by yelling petrifying. Which she was doing, and we get the Heart of Blood. Do you see any familiar patterns popping up here at all? Killed Medusa and we got the Heart of Dracula. I could say that we now process it, if you will. And we also process the ability to get destroyed by these Black Panthers. As you can tell, they're not very keen on being made vulnerable. Just kind of keep morphing into a liquid form, during which they are invulnerable. Talwar. Let's see what the stats for the Talwar are. It's a curved Indian sword and it is not as good. What about the Sword of Dawn? It summons Dawn Warriors, what? Okay. What does that mean, though? No, but it has this slightly more fancy swinging animation, I guess. Maybe it has a different element. What about the... well, it's a two-handed sword. I guess that might have something to do with that, but... what if we get the Shaman Shield? Is that better than the other shield that I had, which was, what, the Herald Shield, I think. It's a hard crest and the shaman's shield is a shield used in the magical ritual. That's what it looks like. And well, let's see what happens if we use that in conjunction with the shield rod, because as you might recall, every shield has a different effect when used together with the shield rod. This one summons this goat creature and intelligence up is what that does, I guess. It's interesting. I think well, I guess we could use that if we just do that, I guess. Immediately destroy all of the balloon spawn. But probably won't use that in the, the very complicated, trying not to be too cheap scheme of things. Well, not very complicated. Probably won't be using that a lot is what I'm trying to say basically, but I'm choking on my lack of ability to make good vocabulary decisions. Alright, we're actually managing to hit the Black Panthers, well, sometimes here. Poison again. I guess the poison does lower the amount of damage you deal. Because that guy did not die in one hit like the others did. A smart potion and with max up, what do you know? And a mana prism. Not just mana prism, but a mana prism. And we also get a first look at these guys, the Sniper of Goth. Snipers of Goth, I guess. They're kind of interesting looking, and they do make a few comebacks, and I think the lore behind them, like what they're supposed to be based on, there's like this old legend where like a Visigoth king called Amalaric was killed by an arrow from very far away. Don't think the one that shot it quite looked like that though, but let's go ahead and equip Spike Breaker again, because as you can see we need it once more. And once more let us dash with the wolf so that we can get the very quick spike breaking action. And then try to dash with the wolf again and not be able to, for some reason. There it goes. And we got a Twilight Cloak. What does that do for us? It's a black cape for vampires. So hey, this is the cloak that Alucard was wearing in the very beginning of the game that got taken away by death. Actually managed to get it back. Yeah, pretty much all of those items that you lose at the start of the game are here in the inverted castle. If you manage to look for them. Find them eventually. Might be more of those snipers up ahead. Up there they are. They both show up at once. And you actually hurt when, they hit you, so... Oh, he disappeared and respawned again. So that means he managed to regain health too, which is not good. And we also get attacked by a bunch of imps here, as you can see, which... They have a pretty annoying attack that they can do, where they pretty much latch onto you and force you to keep attacking, well, kind of rooted in place. Actually, I think I will take a detour here so that I can get to this other area here. This area where, much like most of the inverted castle, is someplace song called Finally Toccata, or Final Toccata, depending on how you figure you want to pronounce it, I guess. And the flying zombies, which only show up in this area, which is upside down all Roxas quarters, but this version of it is called Deathwing's Lair for some reason. Even though there is a boss here, but it's not anything that can even fly, so... Still with the flying zombies again. I think something worse actually happens if you defeat the lower halves of them first and then have to deal with the upper halves. See if I can show that off, I guess. Oh, now I don't have that much more health. Oh, it has a little more health. Having to deal with the flying torsos is a bit more complicated than just blasting them out and then dealing with the very slow legs that are left behind. Oh well, if you attack the legs first, that's what happens, not if you destroy them first. So after dealing with this very long hallway filled with them, which I guess in future you can just kind of fly over using the platform. Oh, managed to catch Samadu's head. Wasn't quite sure if he was gonna manage it or not. Go ahead and fly along the top part of this room so that we can fill out this part of the map at least. Okay. Try not to get hit by the Medusa's heads while we're at it. Because that sure would be a shame if it were to happen, isn't it? I think that's where the save room is, actually. What if we check the... the passageway here, we can find the Alucard Mail, which is one of the best armors in the game. Which, of course, is the armor that you start with. But since it offers better defense than the Dracula tunic, but I don't notice it lowers a lot of the other stuff. I think I will stick with this for now. Also kind of a shame about this song that's playing right now, Finale Toccata, that a lot of people, that's a complaint that a lot of people have, is the fact that the total length of the track is like 5 minutes. But the track resets every time you get into a save room and exit. Oh, hey, it's that guy. Who was a boss before, but now he gets staggered every time you hit him, so... And there's more of him. So how the jokey have become even more jokey. But because this song is so long, is what I was saying, most people, or most of the time, you don't even get to hear the whole length of it because it loops due to loading rooms pretty much. Or it restarts due to loading rooms. We almost got this filled out. Well, the song's about to loop anyway, so let me... I'm gonna wait around a little bit for it to do that, and then I will step into the save room, which is right here. Should be about to loop, if I'm not mistaken. it goes. So now I can step into the same room without remorse or of any kind. And I'm going to head over to the lower right part in this version of the map. Would have been upper left in the original castle. There we go, I'm trying to jump, thank you very much. So kind of want to use the special attack that this weapon has, I think. And I missed. There we go. The special attack that apparently doesn't do anything different. Just this same damage and everything. That's good. So let's head this way, which is the way we would have normally headed in the regular castle to fight the boss who was all rocks, but since he's fucking dead. What could possibly be waiting for us here? Also recall the last boss we fought, which was Medusa. And we got the Heart of Vlad when we won. And here we have the mummy. It's Akmaran II, the same guy that we fought in Castlevania 4, I think, at the top of the clock tower. He releases putrid bouts of whatever. And he makes a very comical cartoon sound effect when he launches his bandages like that. And, he's kind of grunt when he gets hurt. Doesn't really match what you would imagine when sound a mummy would make, but also goes down very easily, as you can see. Just kind of bursts into flames, and then that happens. Bursts into flames even though we were, hitting him with the ice sword. We get the rib of Vlad. This time, we now process Dracula's rib, as you might maybe say as well. Might be another way to put that, so yeah. So you see a pattern emerging. We're fighting all the bosses from Castlevania 1 again. And we're collecting the body parts from Castlevania 2. Quite a curious development, that is. So let's continue on with this. And there's also no lack of references to Castlevania 3 as well, since, like even in the inverted castle, since, well, just the fact that Alucard is the protagonist, he appeared for the first time in Castlevania 3, and then you also see that, a number of references to Trevor, who was the actual protagonist of Castlevania 3, from a few characters, including Alucard himself. So let's kill these things again. Given that they don't even give that much experience at this point. Guessing, well, I don't know if I said guessing, oh, he just fell down the hole, kind of like a Looney Tunes frame. So let me see here, I see spikes. Does the spike breaker armor also affect these? It sure does, okay. And we got ghost dancers, even though they're actually skeletons. And they drop the stone mask. Holy shit, is that a motherfucking JoJo reference, etc. Even though we already got a stone mask earlier from the library. Oh, this is that corridor. Or, I don't know, hallway thing. And that's the another mana prism. which I think some of the items actually help you regain MP in a shorter time, but I figure why bother most of the time, just... And luck potion, which... And shield potion. All of these potions which are conveniently stored in pills. And we make it to this place, which matches up with where the save room, or not save room, warp room was in the regular castle, and sure enough that still matches. It's still the goat, except upside down, so we use it to return to the lion. Just a castle keep, inverted keep, I guess reverse keep is what the actual name of the area that you see in the save points. And the files when you load from them is reverse keep spelled with a C. So that's how you do that. So we've explored the path that leads down to the chapel from here, and then to the Deathwing's lair. Which I still don't understand why it's called that, because, well, gotta keep that in mind, the fact that the area is called Deathwing's lair, even though there's no flying enemies in it, but if we go this way, you find the teleporter. You can clearly see the relation between those two. You know, it's not just that I messed up and I thought I was going into a door that I wasn't actually going into. However, if you disregard all of that and go this way instead, you find this thing in the room. It's a very funky looking Darkwing bat, who lives in the reverse clock tower, as you can see. That's such a very pay-period looking PS1 wings. And yeah, you can actually grab you and in a current and knock you against the wall, which does very little damage, as you can see. And he also dies very easy, as you can tell. And it applies to almost all the bosses. There's one big exception that it can... that I can think of, and when we defeat that guy, who was the first boss of Castlevania 1, we of course get another one of these items, the Ring of Blood. And we end up back in this... well, not back in this version, but in this version of an area that we already explored, but